What time's down with her?
6:30.
Okay, hopefully I have an order by Tuesday from Coons, and the head buyer, Anawalt, wants to see me Tuesday. Anawalt Lumber.
What are they gonna buy?
The faucets or
The
trainers.
faucets, yeah.
I don't think we can sell the sinks. Don't buy the sinks. Okay?
Huh?
I don't feel good about the sinks, okay?
No.
I don't feel good about the sinks.
Okay, it's all right.
I can't sell the sinks.
Yeah, what about the other one?
No, I'll sell the strainer, that's for sure.
Huh?
I'll sell the strainer. You know what I notice? When when you deal with Schwarzes, they're just so stupid and closed-minded. He said, well, we buy this from our buyer. Why would I want to buy it from you? I said, what do you pay? He says, I don't know. I said, I tell you one thing, you're paying at least $6. You could buy this for $3. Would you want to buy something for $3 and sell it for $15 rather than buying $6 and sell it for? Doesn't that make sense to you? Well, it's too much hassle. We already have an account with them. I said, okay. Yeah, you deal with these Schwarzes. You just it's beyond how Spanish people aren't like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're really the Schwarzes are so bad.
Yeah. Why should they have to work, open up a new account?
Well, I gotta wash my hands.
I get it all the time.
Stealing it. They gotta buy it from somebody else. They got these cookies at Ruggle.
Who's this Coons play? What's the name of the company? Coons?
Coons.
Where are they located?
They have a few stores, I think, but they're on Santa Monica, near Robertson up there.
Can they
I
buy
used to go there as a kid.
Can they buy this other thing
The
also?
strainer and the faucet.
The strainer? Okay,
He
yeah.
looks at me and says, yeah, but I'm not going to get parts for these faucets. He says, yeah, but then he looks at me and says, yeah, $25, what I need parts for, So they go bad after 2 years. Okay, it's when you sold a guy a faucet for $50, the last 3-4 years, you pay $200 for a faucet like that.
Yeah. There's couple sizes. What, he wants both sizes?
Leave it 5, right?
Yeah, I need to put up paper.
Julie, you made hard-boiled eggs?
Yeah.
Hello, Elaza.
33, 433. Where's our boss?
They'll come.
Okay.
Okay. We are on Kuf Tes Vav. Let's say there is no news that there's war in the world, but she comes and says there was war where we were and my husband died in the war. Now, if she would have just come and said there was no war, we already said in the Mishnah that we would believe her. So there is a svara of Mali l'shakir. Mali l'shakir. I mean, if she's going to tell a lie, she's going to tell the better lie. He died in bed. That's a svara to believe her. The boy Amr Shalom Bodam, or she could have said there was no war. Since she established the chazaka that there was war, so we have to be concerned Amri b'didami that she's assuming that her husband died, not that she actually saw it. And the svara of, well, why would she lie? If she was going to lie, she would tell a better lie. That does not weaken the fact that she established the chazaka that there was war. So what's the din? Toshma. Ishino alenu bais. The woman comes and says, we were overwhelmed with smoke and flames in our house. Or Ishino alenu mara. Who made Svanini tzalt? He died and I was saved. So ain't an emenes. So she's not believed. So the Gemara wants to compare it to the case where she came and said, oh, there was war and he died. So that maybe we also don't believe her. So the Gemara says, you assume that your husband got burnt up. But just like you survived through a nace, he survived through a nace. You didn't see him run out the door. Therefore, we don't believe you. We were attacked by goyim or robbers. Who made v'nitzalti? He died, but I was saved. Ne'emenes. So there we believe her. Now maybe we will believe her by the war as well. No. Whereas his husband, that means a woman is not going to be killed by listim and by robbers. They're going to rape her. They're going to keep her alive. The fact that she's
Do we have to verify? We can always verify.
The fact that she's a woman, the fact that she's female, that protected her. That's her weapon.
But by a war, we can always verify whether there was a war or not. So
How are you going to verify? How are you going to verify it? You lived in Palestine and they traveled to China. How are you going to verify that?
The word, there's a Rosham. If a fire in a house is one thing, but a Rosham, but if a war is worldwide, people know it from one country to the other.
Worldwide. They went to a little village in China that had some kind of
Revolution.
No, had some kind of fight with a neighboring village. It's not a world war.
Okay. You're right.
They had a wedding, and a fire broke out at the wedding. So the wife yelled out in the smoke and everything, "Watch my husband! Watch my husband!" It means keep an eye on my husband. They found a corpse burnt up. You can't recognize it. And his hand was cut off. This is the same as when she claimed that there was a fire, my husband died, and we shouldn't believe her. There's no comparison. Look, watch my husband. There she didn't say that. And not only that, here we have a corpse. However, Rav Chia says, we can't rely that this corpse is her husband. Maybe it's somebody who came in from the outside to try to save everybody, and he died. In his arm, the fire burnt it up and it fell off. And The husband escaped and he's still alive. And therefore, he didn't rely on the edus of a woman like this. And the halacha in the Rambam is that if she says, there was a fire in our house and he died, we don't believe her. And if she says they were attacked by robbers or goyim and their husband died, then we believe her. Like the Gemara said. Up until now, we've been learning that if an Eid Echad comes and says such and such person died, we believe him and he can marry off the wife. Now, what if the Eid Echad comes and says there was a war and he died? Is he believed or not? There's a svara behind believing one aid, because this is information that's going to eventually come to light. And therefore, something like that, lo mashak, a person's not going to lie to be found to be a bald-faced liar. So maybe hachanami lo mashakir. So maybe we'll say in the same svara here. The whole reason why we rely on an aid, it's not because we rely on the aid, because the woman is going to hire her own detective agency and make sure that he died, because she doesn't want to get married and have her child become mamzerim. Now, the hacha kivin dezin desanyale here, because a woman maybe secretly she hates her husband, lo daiko minsava, she won't do the proper investigation, and because she doesn't care if he comes back. Good, I'm asr laboy, asr labal. I got rid of my husband. So what's the din about an Eid Echad? By the way, tomorrow we're learning at shul. I think it says also 6:30 in the kolena. So 6:30 at the shul.
By the way, does she get a ksuba if we believe her? Do she get a ksuba, or because that's how most mechaver raya?
Yes, she gets a ksuba. If we believe her or the Eid Echad, she gets a ksuba. Yes.
But she has to be mamish bin proof. We may because we kula abundant but by ksuba herself maybe she won't get it because she most mechaver haraya. She doesn't bring proof. All she do is best and says her husband died, but also only in order so she get to get married, but not necessarily ksuba.
Okay, the halacha of ksuba is not learned here in this Gemara right now.
I understand, but it's just
okay.
part of
So
this.
we're gonna be learning Masechta Ksubas next Masechta.
Right. So
whether she collects her ksuba on an Eid Echad or on her testimony, we'll have to wait and see.
Okay.
Regarding Isser Veheter, we allow her to get married. Whether or not she collects the ksuba is a different story, because there are yisomim. There's an estate, and maybe she can't collect from the estate because she doesn't have absolute proof. She has proof enough that we allow her to get married, but like you said, maybe that's not enough proof to take the asset away from the Yisomim. Economic. I don't see any discussion among the poskim here in this sugya regarding collection of riksuba. It's just the permission to get married. Yeah, no discussion here by Ksuba. When I went to intercalate the leap year, that we don't marry off a woman in Eretz Yisrael except Rabbi Yehuda ben Baba. He agreed. You know that this city has a lot of army. I received Masorah from Rabbi Gamliel that we do marry off a woman al pi echad. Now, What did he mean? My Medina Meshubeshes Bekaisus. Lav, Afa Gaz Medina Zu Meshubeshes. He was saying that even though it's Milchama, Kach Megubladim Shvasinal Pi Erechad, Alma Erechad Mehemen. So maybe we have an answer to our question. Amirava, no. Iachi Maishna Medina Zu. It shouldn't just say Medina Zu. Kol Makom Sheish Gaisus Maboile. Any place where there's army. El Amirava Achikar. Atem Yodim Shemedina Zu Meshubeshes Bekaisus. You know that this city has a lot of army. V'lo efshali lemishpek inish basi umaisi kamei rabbanon. Because there's army here, I can't come and give testimony to the rabbanon. But you give it over. Kach mekul blanim Rav Gamliel. Shemasina ish al pi erechad, but there's no raya from this case. The Rambam says an aid that comes and says that the guy died in a milchama or in an earthquake, and he says, I buried him, so he's Naaman, and the woman can get married. If he doesn't say that, ukvartiv, he doesn't get married. Toshma, Maisa b'shnei Talmidei Chachamim sheyubam im Abba Yossi ben Simoy b'sfina. Two Talmidei Chachamim were traveling with Abba Yossi in a boat. The Tova and the boat sunk. V'yisi Rebbe neshasem al pi noshim. Rebbe married them off based on testimony of women. And v'hamayim ki milchama dam, when getting killed in water is like milchama. A woman's testimony is like one echad. Uktani hisi. So again, the Gemara wants to bring proof that eid echad b'milchama will work. First of all, it doesn't make sense. Mayim shein lem sof ninu. There's a difference between water where you can see the.
Ernie, I don't understand the comparison between war and water. I mean, if somebody drowns, just like okay, we're saying now, my lamb soft, but where do they come up that it's like milchama? I mean, I don't.
The concept of that she's going to be medameh. We're concerned. We said that if that when there's peace, and she says he died, we believe her. But if there's war, then we don't believe her because, like we learned yesterday,
right?
She's assuming. So the same thing, water has the same din as milchama. That we're concerned that she didn't see him mamish die.
So it's an assumption.
It's an assumption. That's how mime is similar to milchama.
That's how they compare it. I understand. Okay.
So then it says a different din. There's going to be a difference by water between water where you can see the land versus water that you can't see the land. By water that you can't see the land, we're not matter her to marry because we're concerned that the guy's alive and we just didn't see that he got saved somewhere. When there's water and everywhere the land can be seen on all four sides. So you can marry off a woman based on that mayim, because if he survived, we would have seen him get out of the water. So that's the difference between mayim sheyesh lem sof versus mayim she'ein lem sof.
Yeah, you're in the middle of if you're in the middle of the ocean,
so
that the guy falls off the boat, it's mayim she'ein lem sof. There, you don't believe her.
You don't believe her because he might have been saved because you can't see where he might have been saved. That's the Dakar. That's submarine. That's the submarine, Dakar. They never married them off. Rav Avodah Yosef came up with some shot 50 years later. But that's the case because it was
maybe it's like Yonah the whale. The whale saved it.
Like Yonah the whale. So Umayim Shel Sof Ishta Surah. This was a Mayim Shel Sof, and he wouldn't be able to marry off based on that. Come on. All the people that drowned were brought up to the boat or wherever they were, and we looked at them. And Komri Simonim, and the women gave Simonim. This guy had a mole on his cheek. So it wasn't that they recognized them. They also gave Simonim. The Lavalayu Samchinan Ela Simonim. And Bezin therefore is not relying on their testimony, but rather on Simonim. Ahu gavra da'afkid shum shmi gabi chavre. Person went to China and he left sesame seeds with his neighbor to watch. And then he comes back from China. Armele havli shum shmi. He says, give me my sesame seeds. Armele shkildu. I gave it back to you already. So then he says, I v'hakein v'chein avyin, u'v'chavyisin ramyin. I left you with 2 pounds, and it was in a certain jug. And they checked, and it was exactly that. It was 2 pounds in a jug. And Amar Lay, the guy said, yeah, did chashkiltu. Your sesame seeds were taken, or I gave you. These are others. So who do we believe? He wanted to compare it to the 2 Talmidei Chacham that drowned, where they gave simonim. We don't say these bodies that we found are somebody else, and the original people who died floated away, and these are somebody else. So he wanted to say that it's the same here, and he could get his sesames back. Amarli Rava, no. They actually gave simonim in the goof of each human being. My simone is like each. You have a pound of rice. There's no simonim in each grain of rice. So it's different. So this could be 2 pounds of sesame seed that somebody else brought.
Why don't we say motive mixus? And then he has to swear. He's motive mixus that, you did deposit me. I gave it back to you. So since he's motive.
That's not motive mixus. That's not motive mixus is, I loaned you $100 and you say, no, you loaned me 50. So then you have to take a shvuah.
But he admitted that he gave him the deposit.
But I gave it back. But I gave it back to you. So that's like a denial. And that's a complete denial where there's no shvuah.
Okay.
Person comes to you and says X. The person says no. Why? So there's no way to decide between them. That's exactly like this. If he admits to a partial, that would be different. Then you'd have to take a shvuah. Now, afraid the Gemara Dekomer came to Chen Avian. The fact that he gave the amount, it just so happened. It's a coincidence that the second sesame seeds that he was given happened to be the same weight. Do we believe that the guy moved him from that corner somewhere else? But not matzah kli. If a person found a kli because of love kuf, which stands for korban, or mem meiser, or deles dmai, tes tevel, tav truma. Tav tachas truma. When they were goyzer shma, they would write tav instead of truma. They wouldn't write it beferish truma. And we're not concerned that they moved the truma somewhere else. But we do worry that they moved it somewhere else. Even if they found it in a barrel and wrote truma on it, it's no right that it's truma. Shani oimer, before havamole truma, but upina, but he removed it. So we are concerned, everybody holds that we are concerned that he moved it. So what's the machlokes? If the truma was removed, he would have erased the words truma. He forgot to erase it. Or inami lepan shavke. He felt to leave it there so people won't touch it because they'll think it's truma. Okay, Yitzchak Reish Galusa Barachta Rav Kivoya V'Kozim Mikurta V'Laspanya. Yitzchak the Reish Galusa was traveling from Kortov to Spain. V'Shachri died. Shalchu Me'asim, they sent the following telegram. Yitzchak Reish Galusa Barachta Rav Bibi, the nephew of Rav Bibi Avikoazim Mikurta V'Laspanya, was traveling from Kortov to Spain. V'Shachri. Now, do we have to worry about another Yitzchak? And maybe the regular Yitzchak is alive. We worry that there's another guy Yitzchak that they're referring to. Dahu Gita, there was a get. The Ishtakach ben Nardo was found in the streets of Nardo. Steve, Bitzad Klunya Masa, on this side of the city. Ano, Andrulinoy, Nardo, me, Andrulinoy from Nardo. Patris Utrachas Plonis Insi, I divorced my wife. Ushal Chavurish Milakamin Ravuda Nisia. Avush sent a Shaila. Can we rely on this get? Vishach Le Tibodik Nardo Kuli. You have to check the whole city to make sure there is the guy with the same name. So we're choishish. You have to do the same thing with the case that came from Spain. Rav Amr Isa, well, if you're worried about that, you better call on a boile. Why do you have to just check the whole city? Check the whole world. So Mishum Kavodah of Shmuel de Shalachachi. He gave him that answer because of the covet of Shmuel. He didn't want to say that you asked a klotz kasha. As if he's agreeing to it, but he doesn't really agree to this svara. Says Rav. Amar Rav. So that's the machloikas Abai and Rav. Abai says chayshinan. Rav says loy chayshinan. Why does Rav say loy chayshinan? Amar Rav. Amin Allah. Danu trei shtor denafki b'machazor. There were two documents that people owed money that were found. Ksiv b'hu. Chavai bar Nane v'Nane bar Chavai. Such and such person loaned money. These names were like John Smith. There were other people's names. So we're not choishes. You can use that star and collect money. Now, the Rambam says, Bo shaliach mimokom acher, v'omar shemasru lo lodiyah shemeis ploni ben ploni, that he was told to say such and such person died. But the shaliach doesn't really know who he is. In b'mokom haya yadua adam ba'osu shem, if they knew this name, so the wife is permitted. We're not choishes that it's another person. As long as there's no chazaka that there's two people with the same name. So we paskin like Rava, like normal against the baya, and ein choishishim. The Ramah says Yeshoimim shadafke miskir shleich Hashem hiro. He's got to say George Washington from Washington. If he didn't mention his city, if they know who it is, we don't rely on it. Yeah, others say you have to mention his name and the father's name. You don't have to. The Rosh says you don't have to mention the city. If there's other acts that support it, you can be lenient.
Yeah, but you have Galusa, Yitzchak Rish Galusa, they give more specific because it said here the son of the sister of Rabibi. So that's why it's not like Yitzchak Bar Yishmael. It's Yitzchak, the son of the sister.
Yeah,
That's more.
They were still choishes for another Rav Yitzchak. Even they got that. Abaya holds even with that level of detail, he would not allow it. Rava says we're not choishish, and therefore Rava, and we paskin like Rava that he can marry.
Because
He
of
can
the
marry
because there's more detail.
There's a lot of people who got the same names in the world also at the moment.
I know, but it says when you say specific, Walter, the son of the sister of so and so, then that's be more specific. It's
Yeah,
very
but
rarely.
But Abaya held that there were Zev ben Shmuel, that's a common name. And it's not enough to.
I know, but
mop the
Zeb
woman.
School, then they said the son of, but then the sister is more detailed. So you have a specific, more of a specific thing.
Yeah,
That's not,
but it's you can.
What,
You
Elazar,
need
you're
a bad
asking,
out.
Elazar, what are you asking on Abaya? Abaya says, ain't chosheshin. We're chosheshin of another name. Even
You
though
could-
you have that level of detail.
okay, yeah.
That's how, so Rava argues, we pass it like Rava,
Right,
that
And we
you
can-
can marry the person off.
right. Okay. Yeah,
Shabbos, everybody.
Okay.
Well,
it's quick, everybody. Yeah, well, Shabbat.
Is this it?
Yeah, where was it?
Is this it with the green, with the orange, or that's a different one?
Yeah, I think so, it's about here.
I don't know, maybe.
You took it?
It's in my bag, I don't know, I definitely,
Okay.
but no, I think I bought this from home because you gave it to me last time.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
find the new
We
one.
might get so many of them, I might get more here.
I don't know, I need one of those also. So,
Okay, thank God. Did you car? Yeah. How much you charge? $350. Well, I mean, it runs, it's good. Huh? It's mechanically sound, you know? It's mechanically good. You know, I guess you gotta figure. All the time you did have to. Well, you like a little, right? You got your money for it. Oh, no question. You bought the, that big touch too? Yeah, yeah. Is that okay? Huh? Crazy go. Is that okay at the bottom? Oh, good. Okay, yeah. Gotta eat it, right? That's the theory, huh? With the inflation, you gotta eat. I went into Erewhon. I wanted to buy some stuff there, but I'll never step foot in there again. Where? Erewhon. Yeah, it's just so good, huh? Right. It's just not right. You know about that stuff. It's not right. It's not right. It's just, it's disgusting. The problem used to go there all the time. Something else, and the price was very high. He's only bought a few things. But I got a great deal today. My house on Sweetser. New roof. Yeah, it needs a new roof. Huh? It needs a new roof. Your house? Yeah, it needs a new roof.
Oh,
So I met the roofer there. Says, this is Max's house, right? I said, yes. He said, "Oh, Max's house. This is Max's house, right? The roofer tells me, this is Max's house. This is Max's house. Oh, yeah. I said, yeah. He says, I was here 18 years ago, and I told your father he needed a new roof. You see that patch? I did that patch 18 years ago. I told your father he needed a new roof. You know what I was going to charge your father 18 years ago for a new roof? He told me $9,000. You know what I'm going to charge you? The same thing, because I like your father. There's only one catch. Only one catch. I think we need to redo all the wood on the roof. And that's an extra. It says the roof, the wood's not included in that.
It's rotten, probably the wood, huh? Oh, boy, okay.
Julie's not here. What do you need? I'm here. What do you need? Okay. Let me find her. Julie? 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 Another one.
What's that? Is the laundry, in 30 minutes or less or no? How long does it take to laundry? 10 minutes? No.
I want to make that.
What's burning? Steak? Beef? Meat? Oh, yeah. That was meat, yeah.
I gotta put the green beans in the oven for 10 minutes.
What's burning smells like? Uh-oh, Bertha.
Yep.
You have a big room?
No.
You have a room?
Yeah.
What? You're already calling my name. I came in 5 seconds.
Did you happen to see a plug that was plugged in to this homework?
You asked us that. You asked us. Look at that butterfly. Why do you think it's us? No, we said.
Right, see, because that's when you get in trouble, because you get for the once, twice. Then you get for the lot.
Right. Yeah, so cool. That's sarcastic. What? Sarcastic? Yeah, keep quiet. What is it? Benny. What is this? What is this? It's my mother's?
Yeah, fine, it's your mother's. Cookies,
What?
better ask your mother.
For the cookies? What about these things? The Danish things.
Think of it, better ask her.
No, I'm not gonna take.
Take stuff,
No, it's not nasty.
you know what to ask her? So you can.
What about me? I'm taking the other thing. It's another thing.
Just put one of those in.
I don't want one of those.
Okay, so let Betty take one of those and take a cookie. Won't work, you guys?
It's actually the flavors.
Jim Hyam,
What?
do me a favor, there's 2 tins in the back fridge, can you bring them for me, please?
In the fridge.
In the back fridge, there's 2 tins on the shelf, bring them. You'll see 2 tins, bring them to me without dropping them, okay? What? Yeah, bring those 2 tins to me without dropping them, okay, Jim Hyam? Okay, you do it.
Because I have 2 hands. My hands are full.
Let you get ready, shows at 6:30, okay? 5:15, with your suit, and your tie and everything, 6:30.
Benny,
Huh?
Benny.
Okay,
What?
Get your clothes up.
yeah, let's go,
Take a shower.
okay?
You gotta take a shower, go home. Go get a shower.
Okay, hello? 6:30, okay? 1 hour.